Welcome to day 7 of our mobility series here with us, and really today one of the things that we can go into our test and retest again is that overhead flexion test that you did a couple days ago. And what we're going to go into today is, again, we're focusing in on the inside joint of the shoulder, the glenohumeral joint, where that upper arm meets the ball and socket there. And basically what our first exercise that we're going to go through today is shoulder circles. Now, you've all done this as a warm-up, but what I want you to do is I want you to go into this with a lot of intention and creating as much, again, tension in your arm as you can. So what you're gonna do, arm by your side, one arm at a time, shoulder down, depress that ribcage, and you are going to thumb up to the ceiling, slowly go up, create tension, so you're tensing all the muscles in around the shoulder, and you go up as high as you can with that arm, as far as it'll go. And then at that point, then you rotate the pinky finger back and you create that tension, make that circle as big as you can, and then coming back down to the start position. And really watch that as you're making that rotation in the arm, that we don't end up arching our back or kind of bending or twisting to bring that arm around. We want everything totally solid. Again, thumb comes up as far as you can possibly go, and then once you can't go any further, then you slowly start to turn that arm, bring it around, and then all the way around. So go for about 5 to 10 reps on that, and then the next step, if you find sticking points for yourself there, so coming up, and if you find maybe you're stuck here, what you can do here is do some tiny little circles. So you just do 5 circles one way, 5 circles the other way, and what that's gonna do, especially if you're generating tension in that position, is you're gonna strengthen that area, and then you move on. And if you find you're kind of stuck, say right there for me, and then I can do a couple little circles, 5 circles one way, 5 circles the other way, and then continue down around that circle. And then you can also go the other way. So you start backwards, going around, making that circle as big as I can, and then coming forward. So that is your shoulder circles. All right, so our second exercise here, we're gonna go through a couple different progressions of it, but the first one is gonna be laying down on the ground, and then we'll translate that into seated and standing. So the first step, laying down, is going to be, we're going to be working on external rotation now of the shoulder. So you're going to lie down in your sit-up position. Hands are going to be down by your side with the palms down. And you're going to bring the arms out to the side until you're about 90 degrees to the shoulder. And then you're going to rotate the palms up and come into a 90-degree position. And then do the exact opposite on the way down. So it doesn't look that hard, but again, we want to generate tension through that entire movement, and then again, we want to also breathe out, depress that rib cage, creating tension through this whole movement, rotate, and then as you rotate, your rib cage is going to want to come up, so keep that down as much as you can, and really try to keep as much of your arm against the floor as you can as you go through that external rotation. You notice right here, I'm coming up off the floor, so as you start the rotation, it's likely that you may even be at this point here as you're going through. Now, we're gonna cheat though by allowing that rib cage to come up so we can get the arms against the floor. We wanna make sure we don't do that. Keep that rib cage down, that back flat, and get as much of that rotation in the arms against the floor as you possibly can throughout the whole movement. And now let's go into the progression. All right, so our step 2 of that external rotation exercise is to now sit up against the wall. And what sitting up against the wall does before we go to standing is it makes it a little bit easier to keep the back flat against the wall. So we're gonna basically start in that halfway position that we were on the floor of hands, arms up against the wall as much as you can, kind of in like this W position here. Depress that rib, get as much of the back flat against the wall as you can. As you can already tell, I'm having a hard time opening up my shoulders here, and I can't really touch the wall with my forearms or my wrists at all. So this is something for me to work on. Stomach tight, breathe out, and we're just going to go straight out to the side until we can lock out those elbows, and then coming down, again, creating as much contact against the wall as you can, while also making sure, because again, it's easy to cheat and have that rib cage come off, and then I don't feel very much tension in my shoulders at all. I want to breathe out, keep that back flat against the wall as much as I possibly can. And that's the seated position progression. All right, so the next progression of that external rotation exercise is to go into standing. And this one is significantly harder because it takes a lot more effort to keep the back flat against the floor, but it's the exact same movement. So standing, start with the feet away from the wall. That will make it a little bit easier. Again, depress that ribcage, breathe out. Flatten the back against the wall. Start in the W position, as much of the arms against the wall as you can. You'll notice again from here, if you're trying to get the arms against the wall, you're gonna wanna extend off. So I'm gonna keep that back flat. And then going at the same time, extending out. Reach out till you can lock out the elbows. And then pulling it back down all the while keeping that back totally flat. Okay, and then as you progress and as that gets easier, you can bring those feet closer to the wall, and that's gonna make it harder to keep the back flat against the wall. And then again, going through the same motion, but this feels even worse for me. So I'm quite tight in this area, and that's an area I need to work on. So that is the 3 progressions of the external rotation for the shoulder, and that is the last of what we'll be working on for mobility on the upper back and shoulders this week.